after a busy week for the Mariners, it ends the end of a busy week on and off the pitch for the Mariners before we start a busy week for the Mariners in the way of games this coming week. And we're about to, on Saturday, we go to Cheltenham Town, a much, I would say, improved and definitely different Cheltenham Town to the one that we played earlier in the season, and really, shall we say, dipped our chips in the gravy due to the fact that winning 7-1 here at Blundell Park. So it was a busy week overall for the club in general. Like I did cover in a previous video, obviously the loss of Danny Rose, who's gone to Barrow, and a Lynx Cup win in midweek over the Owls of Cleethorpes Town, with Clark Cador and Andy Cook getting on the scoreline, getting on the score sheet, on the scoreline as well, to see the Mariners through to the final of that, something we haven't won in 12 years. We wait to see whether we play Lincoln United or Boston United. They take place next week, is when that game is played, and we should know by then who we play in that final. If we look at the pre-match press conference from David Artell for that was done by Humberside yesterday as I record this, he spoke to James Hogarth of Radio Humberside, and obviously the first thing they spoke about was Danny Rose's departure, and Artell did say, if you haven't heard the interview, he did say that they'd spoke early in January, and said they were looking at strengthening the forward line, and that pretty much he wouldn't stand in Danny's way if Danny could find a move, and apparently it was very amicable. It still feels strange to not have Rosie in the team, but that's what happens when you've had a player for more than a year. I think you can get attached to Danny, but obviously with the strengthening of Andy Cook, and as Matt Dean had said to the BBC representatives over in Barrow, I think once we knew that he wasn't involved in the matchday squad, he was there apparently, but knowing that he wasn't in the matchday squad kind of gave me an idea that it was done. But apparently it was very amicable between Artell and Rose, and we obviously as a fan base we wish Danny all the best at Barrow, apart from in March when he'll be coming back to Blundell Park with Barrow. So Danny was spoke about, including the injury to Doug Tharm, which looks a lot more serious than initially expected. It did look quite nasty, because I saw the sort of fall he took, or looked like he took a clattering with the advertising hoardings. It wasn't far from where I was sat when he went down, so I wasn't surprised, but you always hope it's just a knock. It looks like it is a little bit more serious, because he did mention, Artell mentioned that they were going to see a specialist for a second opinion on it, so you'd probably think that that could be dug out for the season. That might mean that Gunsby dipping the market probably for another centre back. There is a possibility that Harvey Rogers could be moved back inward, back into the centre back role, although he has done well at right back, to be fair. But I think that's the flexibility if need be. You could try Jaden in there, really. Obviously, you've got Sam Lavelle, but I think we're going to need some probably cover for the season for Doug, which is a shame because he just signed his deal fairly recently, another 2 years, and he all of a sudden gets his injury, and with the lads being on such a good run of results lately, a bit of a blow. Obviously, spoke about January. I think there will be 1 or 2 more additions, at least 1 more, and I think with Doug's injury, I think that's inevitable. There's bound to be at least 1 more. But everything just seems like it's going along sort of nicely. Cam Gardner apparently is back on the grass. I did see someone ask Matt Dean on social media, any confirmation on Cam Gardner. Nothing specific, but apparently Cam is back on the grass. But he's not quite, as Artel said, and he's not quite ready yet. But I think having somebody like Andy there to probably work with Jays, it kind of gives you that bit of self-belief and bit of like, we're okay at the minute, but obviously, will there be another forward addition? Maybe, but you just don't want to be signing players just to clog up an area and then they don't get played, which sometimes when you get loan signings in, that can happen. So it looks very confident. They asked about, spoke a little bit about Steve Cottrell, the Cheltenham manager, and I've got to say, Artel spoke very well of Steve. I myself am a fan of Steve Cottrell. I think he's probably one of the best lower league managers ever. Really, I think if ever a club has ever got Steve Cottrell in charge, I don't ever hear of many. I don't think any set of fans that have had Steve Cottrell in charge of their club have ever been disappointed. That obviously goes from initially Cheltenham, then obviously to places like Notts County, Forest Green, and other teams in his time. So he is a very well respected lower league manager, and like I said, they're definitely not going to be the same team that we played back in September. But really, pre-match Artel seemed as upbeat as you would probably expect him to be. Wanting to he said if anyone was probably going to go out on loan, as upbeat, but if anyone was going to go out on loan, it might be a couple of the youngsters to try and get some experience. I think obviously with Christie out injured, he can't send Seb out, but I think that would be his plan, to probably go to maybe National League North level once Christie's back. But if we now look at a few stats heading towards the game, Cheltenham lie in 18th place, Grimsby lie in 11th, 30 points and 37 points for the two sides. The Mariners were 37, so a 7-point gap from Cheltenham. If you look at the amount of goals scored between the two sides, there's 10 in it. Cheltenham have scored 26 times, the Mariners have scored 36 times. And like I said, all these stats are coming from the BBC Sport website, which is where I, at the minute, use most of the information. I do also use Soccer Punter from time to time as well. This is where I'm getting most of the information from. Goals conceded, though, 43 for Cheltenham Town and 30 for Grimsby Town. And shots, 252 for Grimsby, 178 for Cheltenham. And a few other good things there. On target, the Mariners have had 118, 78 for Cheltenham. and shots off target 134 to 100. If we look at the possession or passing accuracy stats, between the two sides, the Mariners just edge it with around about 73% to Cheltenham's 70%. It's 72.87 to be precise for Grimsby Town. Points from drop points from a winning position though is exactly the same. We both lost 12 points from winning positions. So it's close in that regard. If we look at the recent form of the two sides, Cheltenham not been in the best of form. Obviously with the cup game in the middle of all that, but they've had one win in the last 5 games, and that came with a 3-0 home win against Crawley. Other than that, the last time out they lost 2-1 at Oldham, losing in the FA Cup 2-0 at Leicester, which I think was one of Steve Cottrell's old sides as well actually. Also in that time losing 4-1 away at Crewe and a 2-0 defeat at home to Swindon. So 4 out of the last 5 games for Cheltenham have been defeats. For the Mariners, obviously it's unbeaten in 5. In 4 league games we haven't conceded a goal. The only game that we did was Weston-super-Mare. Our last few results obviously have been 1-0 against Barnet thanks to Jaden Sweeney's strike in the second half, a 3-2 FA Cup win against Weston-super-Mare, winning 1-0, the Haddocks got on top there against Fleetwood, a 1-0 win at home to Shrewsbury, but that 0-0 draw with Oldham as well just before that, around the holiday period. If we look at the overall previous meetings between the two sides, there's been 21 games played very recently. Town just edged that with 8 wins to 7. There have been 6 draws in that time. And obviously everyone remembers the last time that we played Cheltenham, that 7-1 bashing of Cheltenham really, annihilation. A 1-1 draw back in March of last year at Cheltenham, and at the start of 24 when we got a 3-2 win at Blundell Park against Cheltenham, and obviously that was run by Jordan Davis's free kick. So form fairly recently goes for the Mariners. If we look at a few stats that the BBC have here, Cheltenham Town are winless across their last 7 league meetings, with Grimsby following the 7-1 defeat in the reverse fixture this season. The Robins' second heaviest defeat in their Football League history. Also, Cheltenham Town lost 3 of their last 4 League 2 games, winning 1, as many as they'd lost across their 12 league games prior. Now, to us, Grimsby Town have won their last 3 Football League games with the same 1-0 scoreline. They last won 4 consecutive Football League games whilst keeping a clean sheet in each in April of 1993. So you're talking 23 years there since the Mariners did that, and Cheltenham are the only side yet to gain a single point from a losing position in League 2 this season, losing all 14 games in which they trailed at any point. So you feel like, well, that means that if Grimsby can get ahead against Cheltenham, that we could see it out. We could see the game out. We'll have to. We'll have to wait and see on that count. I can obviously see. Can I see him going to up top this time round? I think he might. I think they might play a 3-5-2 on this occasion. I think obviously with the injury to Doug. Obviously, the two wingers for me would be Burns and Vernon. And up for why not go KB and Cook? I don't think Cook will give us 90, but I do think this could be Andy Cook's first start for the Mariners. I wasn't at the Clee game the other night, but I've just seen the highlights of that. That's why there was no review of it. He looked fired up. He looks ready for this challenge, Andy, and especially on one of the challenges that I saw going on him in the first half, he sort of squared up to the Clee defender, going, okay, and really you don't, other teams won't want to fire up Andy Cook because Andy is a goal scorer, and his physical presence up there gives us, as Artel said in his pre-match, gives us something we didn't have before. Danny gave us a physical presence, but he gave us the sort of energy sort of presence. What Andy gives you is effort, of course, but he gives you that kind of diminutive feel of a guy that defenders will not like defending against, and it'd be perfect for either Dara or Chaz or even Reece Staunton, who I think might get a start tomorrow. Probably Reece Staunton might start tomorrow, depending on where, of course, they might drop Harvey Rogers back into the centre back, probably go alongside Lavelle, while Sweeney covers at right back probably for this. I think the midfield, there won't be much different. I've got a feeling it'll be McEachran definitely for this one. Although they gave it to Gazatori, wouldn't be a bad move, but I think George might come in for this. George McEachran may come in for this. And obviously if he's fit, Evan Corey will come in as well. I think the team's starting to take shape as to what the starting 11 might be, but I don't see Andy giving us 90 minutes, but I can see him giving us a good hour, because like I said, he's played about an hour roughly for us in his 2 appearances, having the 26 minutes or so from the bench against Barnet, and then having 45 minutes against Clee in midweek. So wouldn't be surprised to see his name in the first 11. It'll be interesting because I think he might go to up top with KBU, because they did look very threatening actually, even in that small cameo between the two at Barnet. The amount of flick-ons, Andy won 2 or 3 in the air when he was there. Kind of played like the James Hansen role, but I think he's a bit more productive than Hans is. But I think it's going to be an interesting game, because just briefly touching on the opposition in Cheltenham, obviously they've just recently let Liam Kinsella go. That happened just as they got announced by them just the other day. But I think you can see an improvement. The recent results wouldn't say that, but I think if you look at where Cheltenham were when Steve Cotterill came in, they're in a far, far better position than what they were in before Steve was there. And I think they actually like to play some good football. Cheltenham now. They're definitely a different outfit, a different challenge than what they were back in back in August, September time. So I think it's not going to be an easy game for the Mariners. What am I going to go for scoreline wise? Oh, wow. The first goal is key, I think, for this one. I think the first goal is absolutely key. I think if we get it, I think we might overrun them. Cheltenham's ploy might also be to try and keep it tight, and they'll know that Andy Cook is a big threat, but he's not our only threat. And I think that is what's good about this team at the moment. Is our goal outlet might not be as big as, but like I've always said in these previews and reviews, I love a 1-0 because it hurts the opposition so much more. When you can win a game by 1-0, it means you sort of winning ugly. But like I said, we were on that winless run, that it wasn't about performances, it's about results. At the end of the day, the Mariners have played well, but they haven't had the goal outlet in recent few games. But 1-0 wins are just as effective. And my favourite scoreline in football, if you can win a game 1-0, and as I've said before, a la Wimbledon last year, how many times did Wimbledon win 1-0? Yes, more goals would mean a better goal difference, but you'd rather get, the places because of points, I'm not going to go for 1-0. I'm going to go for the Mariners to do this, because I can't remember the last time the Mariners have won 5 straight games in a row. I can't remember us doing that for quite a long time, actually, since we did that. I am going to go for a Mariners win, and I am sort of like, shall we say, being my heart's going in my head. I'm saying Andy Cook's going to score on his full debut. I'm going to go a 2-0 win for Grimsby Town. I'm going to go I'm going to go Vernon and Cook, but I'd be all for KB and Cook. But I'm going to go Vernon and Cook. Obviously, they're going to want, they're going to want to stop Chaz as well if they can. But I'm going to go for Vernon and Cook to get the 2 goals. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. But I do think the first goal will be key in this game. I think if Grimsby get it, we could probably dominate. If Cheltenham get it, it could get quite tricky. So I think the first goal is key. Leave me your thoughts down below. That's me finished with his rambling. Leave me your thoughts down below on this. If you are going to Cheltenham tomorrow, safe journey. Obviously, some people I'm sure will be going as I record this tonight. Some will be travelling up early in the morning over to Cheltenham. I wonder if the races are on. Cheltenham, I don't know, but so if the football doesn't quite go the way, you can always nip to Cheltenham racecourse. Why not? But leave me your thoughts down below. If you are going to the game tomorrow, safe travels. Hopefully bring back 3 more points as we head into a very, very busy week of Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday coming up for the Mariners. I will have a review straight after the game. Will be coming straight after the game against Cheltenham for Cheltenham before a preview on Sunday in regards to the Tuesday game against Colchester. So leave me your thoughts down below, thoughts all over social media, and also any thoughts that you do have. I won't be making the trip to Cheltenham, which to be honest, I'm gutted about, because I'd love to have gone to Cheltenham, but I won't be making it to Cheltenham this time around. Safe travels to everyone that goes up there. Leave me your thoughts down below. Leave me your score predictions as well. Let me know what you guys think will happen. Please do like, please do share, please do subscribe, please do hit that bell button. That'll let you know when I upload some new content. And in the meantime, guys, that's my waffle done for the day. I'll see you guys soon. Up the Mariners. And can we go 5 games in a row? I wonder if I should get my beard shaved if we do win 5 games in a row. I wonder what I'm thinking there. But I'll see you guys with a review of the Cheltenham Town game afterwards tomorrow, as I record this, tomorrow evening. So until then, guys, up the Mariners. Like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, guys, ta-da for now.